Okay, thank you so much, Doug. Let's bring in now Fox News contributor and retired Marine bomb technician Joey Jones. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, guys.
Joey.
So you heard the report there from Doug, Joey. We have executed a drone attack on an ISIS-K planner somewhere in Afghanistan, somewhat removed from Kabul. This, we would hope, would be a beginning. Is it sufficient at this point? What do you expect to see next?
Okay, so there's a lot we don't know, and that's the first thing to say. Pete and I were up late last night talking about this, and what I told Pete was, listen, this is a moment to take a breath. We've all been begging the president to do something, if nothing else, for posture, and we talked about how important posture is in war, psychological warfare. Our enemy needs to know we're willing to strike back, and it's very frustrating that they didn't feel that way up until this. That's Monday morning quarterbacking, or it's after action, whatever. I think it's important to note this is probably not retaliation. This is prevention. This is the Biden administration saying we've got thousands more people to leave the airport. We need to get them out as soon as possible. We want to make sure this bombing doesn't happen again. I would not say this is a retaliation mission as much as stopping this from happening again, which still leaves a lot of open-ended questions. What about the Americans that are out in Afghanistan? What about the SIV holders that didn't make it there? I mean, I got a heartbreaking message this morning from a former colleague that's trying to get someone that this person knows the Taliban is looking for. And it also leaves the question of, are we still going to rely on the Taliban, knowing that ISIS-K are Taliban fighters that the Taliban wasn't radical enough for. Now, at leadership, there may be some severing, but on the lower levels, you gotta know these are guys that are buddies, right? It's like, hey, man, I'm going to join this gang instead of that gang kind of thing. And I just don't know that, if anything, this is evidence that we can't trust an organization that, I don't know, took my legs, took a dozen of my friends. Maybe they're not going to provide security. I don't know if they're in cahoots or collusion with ISIS-K, but they certainly aren't our friend.
But we're sharing intelligence with them. We gave them essentially a kill list of Americans. And now, as Pete was talking about earlier, biometric data, they're now saying that somehow got into their hands, is now being used to hunt down people who helped us.
The saddest thing about all this for me, number one, are the 13 heroes we lost, obviously. And the State Department spokesperson that said the most important metric was the amount of people we airlifted. Give me 5 minutes alone with that guy.
After that attack happened.
I think it was Jake Sullivan, I think. And so, anyway, that's something different. But
it's not different. It's all part of this.
No, you're absolutely right. But what's most concerning to me is 20 years ago we came into Afghanistan, we pushed Taliban out. Now, 20 years later, they know what we do, how we do it, and how we try to accomplish it.
They have our equipment.
There's two things we own. We own the night and we own the air. And we've given them an upper hand on both of those. And that just really, that's devastating for the next generation of warrior that will undoubtedly have to fight these people somewhere. Maybe not in Afghanistan. But radical Islamic terror doesn't decide to like the United States all of a sudden. We're the ultimate enemy. We're the infidel. We're the reason why they can't accomplish their mission. And that's not going to change. If we're over the horizon in several other countries, then they're going to hate us just as much everywhere else.
You mentioned the Taliban and ISIS-K. Well, our own Jennifer Griffin asked John Kirby that question. If they're at odds, why were they released by the Taliban from our base in Bagram? Take a listen to this.
How many ISIS-K prisoners were left at Bagram and are believed to have been released from the prison there? And why weren't they removed before the U.S. pulled out to some place like Gitmo?
Well, I don't know the exact number. Clearly, it's in the thousands when you consider both prisons, because both of them were taken over by the Taliban and emptied. But I couldn't give you a precise figure.
So ISIS-K is not a new entity. Remember when President Trump dropped that Moab in Afghanistan? That was on 90 ISIS-K fighters in a cave. And we also, they had been on such an offensive against ISIS-K that thousands of them were locked up. Then we leave them be to be released, and these might be the very same people killing our boys.
What's most concerning about this, and the Trump administration has done a great job with their messaging since it started. Obviously, they're not in office right now, so they're not making decisions. It's easy for them to say. But the one thing they have said is that President Trump's relentlessness to attack a group through drone strikes or what have you is why they weren't attacking us. I read a New York Post report that 2017, 2018, Trump's administration killed the leader of ISIS-K over and over again. Every time a new one would come up, they would help or kill them. They said the estimated strength was about 2,200. So if we just let thousands out, does that mean we just doubled their strength? I mean, there's a reason why we haven't seen them in the headlines attacking us. That's because we did a good job attacking them. And does this give them an opportunity to replenish their ranks? It's not about blame. It's about where do we go next? And I don't want anyone at that airport to get injured or killed again. And I just hope that President Biden understands these types of actions are necessary, because that's the language that our enemy speaks. And I know they're not afraid to die, but they're also calculated. They're not going to just give themselves up either. And so if this does anything to push them back long enough to get our people out, I don't think the Biden administration is going to do anything to go get people in Kabul until they get everyone out of that airport and do something afterwards. So if that's the case, if that's their decision, I want the people that are at that airport to not be attacked again.
Joey, I'm a mom. I'm not a military expert. I've said this before on the show. But I'm thinking, okay, you left them in the prison in Bagram Airport. You shut off the lights and left them there. The Taliban comes in and releases them. Wouldn't that be the perfect moment to drone those guys?
And there were a lot of perfect moments to be on the offensive to take out some of our enemy. I think the decision was made probably even a few years ago on how we were going to leave, as far as if we were going to attack the Taliban or how we were going to do that. I don't know if the decision was made that, hey, let's replenish their stock. I don't know that that was ever part of the plan. That was very much a reactionary thing, right? And leaving Bagram was inexplicable, if you ask me, especially the way we did it. When we left Bagram over a month ago, I believe, what we did, we didn't just weaken the Afghan National Security Force, we telegraphed to our enemies how weak they were. So if you want to know why the Afghan National Security Force fell so quickly, maybe it's because when we left Bagram and they didn't have lights on anymore, that empowered our enemies and that bolstered our enemies. That gave them the motivation and the confidence to go in 3 days and take over Kabul. And I think that any military leader that isn't looking at this and at least trying to learn from it, because I don't know that anyone cares about accountability anymore, they're just going to put us right back in a bad situation.
Just really quickly, it was a small comment you made. Last week, we sat on this couch and we worried about the imminent inflection point that those gates represented. Of course, 1 week later, we saw it come to reality. Just a small comment when you were talking, you said something about scattered out throughout Afghanistan. And I think there's so much attention on Kabul. We forget there are Americans who are not in Kabul, who are still in Afghanistan, who also represent targets. And as ISIS-K or Al-Qaeda or the Haqqani network or the Taliban take over the entire country, we have vulnerabilities all over the country, not just in Kabul.
And with those Americans scattered throughout Afghanistan, I think one thing that makes people, and regular Americans are starting to understand this, it makes people so mad, is when you stand in front of that podium, or maybe you think it's a pulpit, the way they like to preach at us, and you say, well, those Americans that don't want to be here, that didn't answer the call, those are individual stories. A lot of those people are begging their own family or trying to get a hold of their own family. That's why they haven't made it over there yet. If you want to point blame on anything here, ask why over the last 6 or even 18 months we weren't processing visas.
Right.
Like 3 weeks ago, the story was veterans are outraged. They can't get their interpreter a visa. It wasn't, we might not have known this was going to fall in 3 days, but we knew it was going to happen quick, and we knew it was a dangerous situation. We've been begging the government to move and get this done. They didn't do it, and now they're bragging about an evacuation that should be a withdrawal. You evacuate a hurricane. You don't evacuate summer weather.
Yeah.
Right? So if you predict it and you know it's coming, you don't evacuate, you withdraw.
And then you call it retrograde when it really is, in effect, a retreat. That's exactly what's happening.
Absolutely.
Joe, you mentioned the 13, the 11 Marines, 1 soldier, 1 Navy corpsman. When we now know the names of those U.S. troops, many of them who were killed at the Kabul airport bombings, and we want to read them because it's important.
Absolutely.
Marine Riley McCollum of Bondrent, Wyoming, had just gotten married and was expecting his first child in just 3 weeks.
David Lee Espinoza of Laredo, Texas, joined the Marines out of high school and had just transferred to Kabul a week ago.
Marine Kareem Niku of Norco, California, died just a day after sending his father a video of himself talking with Afghan children and giving them candy. Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz of St. Charles County, Missouri, was on his first deployment abroad. Corporal Dagan Page of Omaha, Nebraska, also joined the Marines out of high school and hoped to go to trade school after finishing his service.
Staff Sergeant Ryan Noss of Knoxville, Tennessee, was the first Army victim to be identified. His family says he was a devout Christian, and he hoped to move to Washington, D.C. And Staff Sergeant Darren Taylor Hoover, Jr. of Midvale, Utah, had served in the Marines for 11 years. His father told a local Fox affiliate that he loved the United States and proved it by his service.
Joey, your thoughts as you hear those names, you hear who was lost. You know, those families are grieving today.
Yeah, I saw myself and a lot of my best friends in their faces. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. this is America's best. If you look at that just now, you saw a little bit of everybody from a little bit of everywhere. That's what it takes to keep this country safe. There aren't beliefs that go beyond believing in each other when you're in the military. You do anything for each other, and they just gave their lives for us. The least we can do is remember their names and honor them, and ask our government to honor their sacrifice by completing the mission that they died for, which is to get Americans home and keep us safe.
Yeah.
I think that is why there is such a visceral reaction to why we're leaving now, because this is the immediate effect of it. But then you think back on 19 years and so many guys like you who gave so much and say, this is how we finish it?
When I was 24 years old and lost my legs, I laid in the hospital bed, and every 2 weeks a new name. It would be Floyd Holly, it would be Stephen Dunning, and then eventually it'd be Dave Line, a guy that was injured like me, and 2 years later died of a heart attack that I was really close with. And I got to do that one at a time, and it hurt every single time. There's 13 names there. I mean, in one day, that's 13 of that feeling, and those days were tough. I can't imagine what their families and friends are feeling, and I hope the country mourns them the way they should, because we hit a time at one point, 2009, 10, 11, 12, to where it was almost too routine. Right. And I'm glad we're in shock from this, because this is not acceptable, and it shouldn't be normal.
You're right.
Joey Jones, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank you, Joey.
Appreciate it.